Hello everyone, Hamas28 here, and today we're back in the world of Reclamation. So not much has really happened since the last time. Really just focused on gathering some resources, that way we can continue through the quest book here, because a lot of this stuff is taking a lot more, lead and iron and copper than we had before. And without more automation, there's really not an easy way to speed things up. It's just collect it, transform it, and store it. So really not much to do there. As you can see here, I added 2 more fume funnels to the witch's oven because trying to get these Breath of the Goddess and the odors was really difficult with just one. And I was actually interested in running a little test to see how effective each fume funnel is. So we'll do a quick cut and I'll show you. Alright, so we're in the creative world. So you can see I set up a little experiment with 0 fume funnels, 1, 2, and 3, and I put in 2 stacks of spruce saplings to test how much of the hint of rebirth you get. So with 0 fume funnels and 2 stacks of saplings, you get 39. With 1, you get 43. With 2, you get 56. And with 3, you get 91. So you can see each fume hood actually increases the number of drops you get by quite a lot, because it goes from 39 to 43 to 56 to 91. So you can see the biggest jump is at 3 fume funnels, and that is the maximum you can do. Actually, I didn't try put on these. No. Okay, so 3 is the maximum you can do, because you can see this one connects to the top, and then these 2 have connections. If you place one on the back here, it actually won't connect, and it won't connect on the bottom either, or the front. So you can only do 3, but it increases it to like 2 stacks. As you can see, it's 128, so that's 91 out of 128, which is almost 75%, whereas with just 0 is like 25%. So I definitely recommend getting 3 fume funnels to really increase your productivity with getting these essences processed, because otherwise you're going to just be wasting quite a lot of time, especially because saplings are quite hard to get in the early game. So we'll go back to our survival world. Alright, so back into our world. What we're going to be doing today is working through, going back to this one, and actually harvesting our Ember. So I did make a hopper. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Well, let's see, we're not going to need the scoop or the shears, I don't think, nor the other bee stuff. We will just need some charcoal, and then we're going to need some of the pipes. So we're going to need, to finish this off, we need to make 1 of each item pipe, fluid pipe, item extractor, and fluid extractor. Let's see, item pipe. Nope. Item pipe. Fluid pipe, and then extractors. Item extractor, I already have it. What's the other one? Oh, there it is. It was just too dark for me to notice it. And for these, we're going to need our lead, our iron, and we're going to need our hammer. So for the item extractor, we're actually going to need Caminite plate and gold powder as well. And do we have any more Caminite? We had the bricks. The plate was just... No, how do you make the Caminite plate? Caminite plate was... Okay, you have to actually make it from the blend first. So we're going to need our clay and sand. Looks like we don't have any extra sand. That's annoying. Alright, let me go grab some sand real quick. Alright, we got our sand. So let's make our blend. It should be, I believe it was 4 sand to 1 clay, or the other way around, 4 clay to 1 sand. Yep. Let's make some more. Seems like we're going to need quite a lot of it. We'll do half a stack for now. And make our plates. So let's go ahead, we'll take you out and cook these off. Just trying to make a bunch of charcoal. Let's see, sort the inventory. Now, we should be able to make the pipes at least. So the pipes is going to take 2 lead ingots and a lead plate, and a lead plate is also 2 lead ingots. So now we can make our item pipe. The fluid pipe is the same thing, but with iron. Item pipe's done. Then for the fluid extractor, it's going to be 2 fluid pipes, Chemonite plate, and gold powder. This one is 2 item pipes and the same. So if we grab our Chemonite plates, we can make, oh, we need gold powder. We could make 1 item extractor and 1 fluid extractor. Task completed. And now that that's set up, we should have all we need. We're not extracting fluids, so I can put the fluid ones away for now. The fluid extractor might be useful for these, because if I have a way to keep dumping water into the accumulator, I can keep producing sal ammoniac without having to constantly come in. But for now, we're going to need a chest. And this should be all we need in order to turn on our machine. So let's head on downstairs. Alright, made it to the bottom. As you can see, I expanded it out a little bit, so there'd be a bit more room to like maneuver. So, using the mechanical core to interface with the ember bore, we're going to use a hopper to pump in our charcoal. And you can see once it's inside, it turns on. You can see it's on by all of the drill mechanisms grinding away. You can see it's filling up with our charcoal. And there we go, our first ember shard. Now, there's no way to take it out. That's what you need the item extractor for. So you put your item extractor right here. You put, I think I could just connect the plate. Actually, I think if you do it like this, it's gonna try extracting from both. So we'll break the chest. Should really get an axe. And we'll take an item pipe right here, and then put our spruce chest there. So now it knows to extract from here into there. And then, actually I was missing one more thing. We're going to need a lever. Luckily we have our hammer. And I think you can use deep slate to make a lever, right? No, wait, it's the other way around. That's what it is. Okay, no, you can't. So let's grab some cobblestone. Let's see. 1 ember shard. So it's going quite slowly, but it is producing. So let's go up and grab some cobblestone. And now using our cobblestone, we can make a lever. And then, using the lever, we can activate our item extractor. As you can see, it even connects to it. So we have 3 ember shards and some ember grit. Connect this on, and it gets thrown into the chest. Very useful. So now that we have the ember, we're going to activate it. So now that you have some ember, you'll need to turn it into usable energy somehow. The ember activator turns solid ember into activated ember. Pipe crystals and shards into the bottom, and attach an ember emitter to the top to output activated ember. Use a tinker's hammer on the emitter to link it to a receptor, give it a redstone signal, and you're transmitting activated ember. Note that ember grit doesn't normally produce activated ember. You'll have to add a heat exchanger to an activator to get energy out of it, which multiplies all ember production by 0.9, but adds a flat plus 300 to all items production. And then this takes copper, 2 iron plates, and a furnace. This will take some of these Chemonite plates, copper, more of the same. Luckily, these are all pretty cheap, which kind of makes sense considering these are like the power. You really don't want to make them too expensive. Let's go ahead and grab this. We'll leave the grit because the grit will take an extra item that we don't have. So let's go up and get this all connected. Alright, so now that we made it to the top, let's craft our items that we're going to need. So we're going to need an ember activator, which will take copper. We're also going to need some cobblestone for the furnace. And 2 iron plates. Put in our iron, spread it, 2 iron plates. We're going to need 1 furnace. And that should be our Ember activator. Done. Now the Ember emitter is also pretty simple, along with the other two items. One more iron plate for the relays. Now let's see. So the activator is essentially the generator. Let me collect these. And now that we've done that, we unlock the hearth coil and storing ember. So storing ember, you want to make a copper cell to store your activated ember. It works as kind of a battery for mystical energy. To see how much ember is in the cell, place an ember dial on it. Copper plate and paper. Okay, that's easy enough. We should have paper lying around. There we go. I thought I saw sand in here. I did. Wait, did I put that sand in there? I think that was me from earlier. Okay, so we'll make an ember dial, which will take a copper plate. And our piece of paper. And then the copper cell itself takes a copper block, 4 caminite bricks, and 4 iron ingots. So we can make that. 4 of these. A block of copper. Done. 1 copper cell. Then over here the hearth coil. Now that you have ember, what can you do with it? One useful item is the hearth coil. When provided with ember, it can be used as a very fast furnace. And it will take a mechanical core, another copper block, 3 copper plates, and 2 iron ingots. So let's go ahead and make this. So 1 lead plate. 1 lead plate, 1 block of caminite, and then we can make the hearth coil. No, we cannot. We can make the mechanical core first, then we can make another lead plate, and then another block of caminite. We'll throw that. And then I'm a silly guy. Let's see, dump this deep slate, dump the tuff and the dirt in the glass pane. I made the stuff for another mechanical core. I'm sure we'll need that at some point. We need 3 copper plates. And then another block of copper. Now we can make the hearth coil. Done. Now it says that it uses ember. But does it use ember energy or just straight ember? It doesn't specify. Let's see. So we'll put this stuff on this side of the door. So we'll put our activator right here in the corner. Ooh, very fancy. Then we'll connect it. Doesn't look like you can connect it directly. Let's grab our pickaxe. So, let's see, what did it say? You pipe crystals and shards into the bottom and attach an ember emitter to the top. So grab our emitter. I mean, it looks like it's connected. I assume by... oh yeah, it has slots for it. I thought by top it meant like this top. Can I place it up here? You can. Let's see. Based on how it looks and how difficult it is to break it, I assume you can only do 1 to 1. So if I take this copper cell and let's say put it here, and we take our receptor, put it on the top, and then you put your ember dial, we should be able to connect it with the hammer. Cool. Now it's not actually running, because we have to put ember shards in it, and you have to pipe it in from what it said. So we'll need to make another item extractor. And then the hearth coil, let's see this. Oh, that's very big. How do you put items in it? How does it actually smelt? Let's see. Let's consult the book. This is the hearth coil. I thought there was a way to search in this. Beam cannon. Hearth coil. There it is. Gone are the days of using solid fuels in a stone furnace. Making use of ember power, you have developed the hearth coil. When supplied with ember, the coil will heat up. The hotter it gets, the faster it will smelt the items on top of it. All smelted items will be contained within the inventory of the coil and can be piped out from the bottom or a mechanical core. So it says from the bottom. Let's dig under this. Okay, it does have a slot, so we'll have to output it. But right here, it's a little awkward. I don't like this placement. So we'll want to move it. Let's put it right here. Like so. Then we'll fill out this space here, dig out this. There we go. And it said you just have to put items on the top. So when I'm powering this, do I just like throw it in? How exactly do I get the ember inside of it? Let's see. I think that's connected, right? It looks like it's connected. Let's see, does it go on any corner? I mean, I think it works. Can I do it like from the side? I mean, it looks like it's connected. Can I connect multiple to one slot? That's a good question. I wonder if you could connect multiple. Or if I have to like daisy chain it, like go from this to the cell and then to the receptor. But I'll need to actually power this first. Let's see what else. Melting and stamping. Ember is capable of melting metals and other items in the creatively named melter. Feed the bottom half ember, feed the top half items to melt, and you can extract molten metal from the top half. This molten metal can be formed into a variety of shapes in a stamper. Place the stamp base, then the stamper above it with a 1-block gap of air. Give the stamper ember and a stamp, pipe molten metal into the base, and presto, stamped and cooled metal products. Notably, you can use this process to produce plates more efficiently. Okay, a melter, a stamper, and a stamp base. So I think we can craft all of that. Let's see, the melter is going to take another furnace. Why it won't let me just click into that? There we go. Another Camonite plate. Always pays to make more than you think you need. And 4 bricks. Although we're definitely going to need more of these. I think I have 2 more in one of these chests. I do. Perfect. 1 melter. We don't have... I can't speak. We don't have enough for that, so we're going to have to make more bricks. Let's see, where did I... It's on the bottom chest, right? Clay and sand. There we go, number 24. Don't need this stuff, or that, or that. We're gonna need more bricks, 4 to be exact. Now let's see, we have to power the Ember activator by piping crystals and shards into the bottom. So we're gonna need to make a chest. We're going to need another item extractor. And another lever. Like so. So we should be able to just take our item pipe. Here, item extractor, put a chest, put our ember shards, put our lever in the front, and this should turn it on. I don't want to waste any power, so we'll connect this here. Okay, the ember shards are inside, and looks like it's working. Let's see, this isn't getting anything. Let's see, all of the shards got used. Attach an ember emitter to the top, link it to a receptor, and give it a redstone signal. Usually tinker hammers. Oh, okay. So we need another lever. Okay, now it's working. Cool. It's kind of odd that you need to give everything in this a redstone signal. I don't see why. I mean, it gives you a little bit more control. I don't see why you need all of that, though. We're going to need 1 block of iron to make the stamper. And then our stamp base. We're going to need a new bucket to replace the one we just used. But now we have that. Melting and stamping completed. Now, it did say it's more efficient to use this to stamp. Let's see. Flat stamp. You can stamp an ember crystal into 6 ember shards. Molten zinc into zinc. So this is 1 ingot. Okay, so it makes it more efficient to make the plates, because instead of using 2 ingots, you only need to use 1. You do have to melt it first, of course, and you need a plate stamp. And this is just 4 Caminite blend. Okay, interesting. Now it does look like this is completed. So of those 9 we threw in, or 6 or so, it gave us 1600 ember. Now if I want to... This is a receptor. If this is storing energy, and I want to take energy out, take our emitter. So do I place an emitter here, and then can I connect this to the hammer? Okay. Then I should be able to take our stick and put the lever here, and now this should transmit energy into the hearth coil. Okay, cool. So it lets you manually keep it on or off. Now, how do we actually use the hearth coil? Now, it said you just throw it on the top. I don't know why I checked this when I had to check the book earlier. Hearth coil. When you supply with ember, it gets hotter and hotter. It will smelt the items on top of it. Let's see. Can I use this to check the uses? Okay, so it does basically show it as a smelter, which means you could smelt anything any smelter can do. Yeah, that's how to craft it. Now, does it literally mean you just throw it on the top, or is there like an extra step you have to do? Let's sleep through the night. I don't like zombies spawning and ruining my day. Okay, so let's try this out with something we can smelt. We're going to need the stamp base, so let's try making one of these. Like so. This has ember in it, so we're going to turn this on. So now this is working. So if I throw this on top, I don't see anything happening. Let's see. Where's our book? Mini boiler. You can boil water. Installation. The hearth coil is a spectacular machine, and just as spectacular is its ember consumption to stay lit. These new installation upgrades may just help that a little. Each installation upgrade increases the maximum heat of the coil significantly, and additionally reduces the cooling speed by 30%. With some redstone design, you may be able to significantly increase the efficiency of the coil. Insulation. Let's see here. Insulation. Copper plate, ashen stone, and a silver plate. And silver comes from silver, which we don't have access to yet, so I don't think we can craft that, nor do we have ashen stone, which is just stone and ash. Oh, so we can actually get this. We do have some leftover ash from random stuff. But how do I actually use this? So I'm thinking you might have to actually use the core to pipe items in. That's what I think. So let's Let's see, so if we take another chest, move the stamps, take our item pipe, we're gonna need another item extractor. We're gonna need more item pipes. Then we should be able to do item pipe, extractor, chest, lever, raw plate stamp. Okay, it's in the core. How do I get it into the machine? Oh, well now it says hearth coil has 1. Ember. But nothing's happening. I mean, I think I'm doing it right. When supplied with Ember, the coil will heat up. The hotter it gets, the faster we'll smelt the items on top of it. All smelted items will be contained within the inventory of the coil and can be piped out from the bottom or a mechanical core. Okay, so it seems like you do just have to throw it on the top. Do I take damage by standing on this? I don't, but it wasn't doing anything, unless it was just very slow. So let me try breaking this. Item extractor. Pipe. So that should pull it out. Take our cobblestone. Let's build a little base here. Throw it on the top. Now let's see. If I do uses, raw plate stamp, probably the same, 10 seconds. So I guess we'll just wait 10 seconds and see if it does something. Let's see. 21 seconds. Nothing's happening. It's not drawing any more power. Unless there's like a setup I need to be doing. Yeah, it's still raw, so it should be finished by now. It's been a lot longer than 20 seconds. A lot longer than 10 seconds. Huh. So I wonder what I'm doing wrong. Receptor, emitter. This got power because we lost it here. 360 off. 360. This is the hearth coil, ember receptor. Huh. Ember relay, ember transfer, copper cell, stamper. Okay, it's not this one. Insulation, char instiller. Limited to only smoking recipes. No. The hotter it gets, the faster we'll smelt the items on top of it. All smelted items will be contained within the coil and must be piped out. When supplied with ember, the coil will heat up. So can I not power it? But power left. Unless I just did it in the wrong spot. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna grab some ember from the drill, and I'll see if I could just pipe the ember directly into it and see if that turns it on. Okay, so I'm back with 39 ember. Let's see, this is off, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna use some of this. I'll split it in half. Actually, I'll split it into quarters, because I want this quarter to continue to charge the battery, and then I want to try out this. So these are not working, so let's break these. So let's see if we can input items, input ember into this to turn it on. So we're going to break these, swap this, item pipe, item extractor, extractor, pipe, lever, ember shard, on. Okay, they left, they're in here. Not seeing any difference. Ember activator releases ember. Okay, it's feeding that. Ember coil, it still has 9. This is going up. Nope, still not doing anything. Place that on top. Does it need a redstone signal? No, you can't place something. You can't place a lever on it. It's not, still not doing anything. When supplied with Ember, the coil will heat up. The hotter it gets, the faster it will smelt the items on top of it. Huh. But I used the battery to give it Ember, and it did go down, so it did accept it. Okay, so that's not working either. So weird. Okay, let's replace this. Item extractor, item pipe, lever. Take out our Ember shards. So if that's not what you're supposed to do, put more Ember in here. Let's see, how much does this store? 24,000. So that's pretty good. So did I like put it in the wrong spot maybe? Ember relay. Lets you move it around. Ember receptor. Ember emitter. Why do we have one more receptor than... Oh, because I placed one over here. That's why. So, okay, so energy comes out of the activator, goes into the cell. Now, if I put an emitter here, and then I put our receptor right here, it does appear to connect. Actually, I don't like that placement. I want to put it on the side right here. Like it physically connects. Like you can see there, it's not connected to the block, it's just sitting on the block. So then if we take this and connect it, and then put the lever, we're at 6,000. Power is going in. Throw the stamp. Okay, power is being transmitted. Let's see, will it cook it now? I can't tell if that particle is from the machine or just Minecraft. But it seems like nothing is happening. And according to this, the faster will smelt the items on top of it. All smelted items will be contained within the inventory of the coil. I have to be doing something wrong. Let's see. If I consult the book, copper cell, geologic separator, melter. You can melt down objects. The melter's bottom. This comes from the copper cell, stamper, mini boiler. Smelt the items on top of it. No, you can't right click it. I'm so confused. There has to be something I'm doing wrong here. Let's see, Embers rekindled. At Embers. Is there like an item I'm supposed to put on top of it to hold the item? Item dropper lets you drop an item. Item vacuum, hearth coil, reservoir. Don't think it's the reservoir. Let me check our guide. YouTube. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I looked up a quick tutorial. Sadly, this was the last thing covered on the tutorial. So if I take 2 copper ingots to make a copper plate and make another dial, I should be able to put the dial on this. Ember 0 of 8. Okay, so I also realized what I was doing wrong. We need to break this. Break that. Come down here. The mechanical core is what we want to attach this to, I'm pretty sure. So you take your relay emitter. We want to receive. We want to emit. And probably... I don't think I need a relay for this. It's pretty close. From what he said is that there's actually no distance. Like, you can do it as long as you want, you just lose energy over time. So now that we're pumping into this, okay, there we go. Ember is going in, heat is going up, and if we take a look at the top, it's working. Can I stand on this? Okay, cool. You can stand on it and you don't take damage. So now, we can take our raw plates, throw it on the top, and it's done. Almost instantly, cool. And that was at like 10% heat, less than 10% heat. At max heat, it goes even faster. So we'll turn this off for now. Let's see, what's our energy at? We have quite a lot. We'll turn it off for now, because we're not using it. But you can see even after you turn it off, it does have its own internal Ember storage that it'll keep using. And the heat will keep rising as long as it has Ember that was supplied to it. So that's pretty cool. So let's see, now that we have that going, we can set up our stamping system, because we have our first stamp. So we need our base, the stamper itself, and the melter. Since our power is here, we'll do the stamp base. Since it seems like all the items have to be reached from the bottom, I'm actually going to dig out the floor here. Like so, that way we can get a little bit more height. And we'll put this guy right here. So the base will go here. The stamper will not go inside of it. I believe you had to place it one block above. Like so. And then what was the melter for? The melter melts stuff. Makes sense. So I believe I can just put the melter on top of the stamper, or I'll have to separate it and then use the fluid pipes to pipe the hot liquid into the stamper. Now let's see. The stamp base, I believe, only needs the plate stamp itself. No, not like that. Let's see, stamp base. Stamping. Nugget stamp, molten gold. Oh, so I think the stamper takes this, like so, and then whatever molten liquid goes in here, it will then stamp it, and then output into the bottom. So let's see, we're going to need power here, so we'll use our receptor and our emitter. Let's see, that one emits into this, so this one's available, so we'll use our receptor here. Create another lever, and then actually, since we already have the copper cell right here, instead of drawing directly from the activator, we'll have this emitter here, and then we'll have it go to a relay here. Connect the relay to this receptor. So now if I flick this switch, it goes there. Now let's see, it looks like you do need an Ember dial to view it on all of the machines. I think there was something in the book that was related to this. See, I don't see that there. Atmospheric gauge dials. Yeah, graphically displays. I thought there was another thing that does it. When held in the other hand, it will always tell you which purpose a face does. Guess not. So I guess it is just the dials. Luckily, they are pretty cheap to make. So let's see. Let's grab some more paper. We're gonna need more paper and then some more copper sheets. It's a stone hammer, not a tinker's hammer. So I should be able to throw this dial on the top of this, and it's storing Ember. Cool. So this has an inventory of 8,000 Ember. That one's also 8,000. I wonder if they're all 8,000. Which is nice. That means that the battery doesn't have to be like the sole way to power everything. Everything can store stuff on its own. And then the melter... Does the melter have extra steps? Let's check the book. Stamper Melter. Using the power of activated Ember, you have devised a way to melt down objects. When the melter's bottom block is provided with Ember, it will melt down meltable items in its top block into their liquid state, where the molten fluid can be piped out for external use. Hi, Enderman. So we'll do it right here. Take our melter. Oh, a spider, hi. So it is also multi-block. Let's make another dial for this one as well. 1, 2. Copper plate, paper. You know, at first I thought this mod was going to be very complicated, but I actually like all the different things it has. Grab another receptor. So now if I put it on the top, actually it might go right here. Be gone. Grab our hammer. So let's see, if I connect this guy here. Oh, it can only do one. Huh. Okay, well, is this getting powered? It is. Cool. That's a little annoying. I would think that the relay can connect to multiple, but I guess not. That's probably why the activator has so many different slots. Let's see, because if we emit here, are there other ways to transmit power? Ejector, relay, beam cannon, that doesn't sound like what we want. Receptor, Camonite buttons, atmospheric gauges, Tinker's lens. No, not really seeing one that looks like what we would use. Which means we'll probably need to put a battery like attached to these blocks, and then just have this receptor feed one battery and then like daisy chain it around. Something like that. Because if this one feeds that machine, that's the input, and that goes here, then we're not going to have enough slots from a single battery. We would have to have another emitter on this side to feed more machines. But okay, now that that works, let's see. We should be able to melt stuff by piping molten copper and gold into different sides of the bottom of a mixer centrifuge. Oh, so this is an entirely different machine. Entirely. I thought it was ingot stamp molten dawnstone. This comes from mixing. Mixing copper and gold to make dawnstone. But then if you want to stamp stuff, like say I want to make another lead plate, then you need to stamp an ingot. So I should be able to take one ingot, put it in here. So now that's going to turn it into molten lead. And then where did I leave our fluid pipes? Fluid pipe, fluid extractor. Gonna need another lever. So that made molten lead. So now we can use the fluid extractor. Not in there. How do I extract? Melter. How do I extract out of a melter? Stamper, melter. It will melt down in its top block where the molten fluid can be piped out for external use. Oh, there we go. So we do this into the stand. Oh, not up there. Silly me. Into here. So now if I do this. Oh, that was really fast. We can stamp it into a lead plate. And now we're twice as efficient because instead of taking 2 lead ingots to make a lead plate, we can use a single lead ingot. And luckily this is quite easy to use. Now, I do wonder if I type molten, interesting. Interesting stuff. You're probably thinking, James, what's so interesting about the liquid form? What's interesting is that create says if you have 10,000 blocks of a liquid and you take a fluid pump into the bottom and pump out, and you have one more than 10,000, so 10,001 blocks, it will recognize it as an infinite source of that liquid. And since all of these blocks can exist in a liquid form, theoretically, I can dig out a massive tank, fill it with 10,001 blocks of fluid, and have an infinite source of that fluid. Now you might be thinking, but James, 10,000 blocks? That's ludicrous. Actually, it's 10,001. But, regardless of the wrapper, it's actually not that bad. Because 10,000, let me pull up the good old calculator here. If you want a total volume of at least 10,000, has to be greater than 10,000, then you only need a 25 by 25 by 20, I believe. 25 by 25 by 20. Actually, that's 12,500, so you actually do smaller. 25 times 25 times 15 gets us a little under, so 25 times 25 times 18. 25 times 25 times 16. Okay, so a 25. Where are you coming from, buddy? So a 25 by 25 by 16 cube stores exactly 10,000 blocks. Which means if you do a 25 by 25 by 17, do one more layer, you'll exceed the amount needed. But here's the fun part. Here's the bonus that makes this crazy. You do not need 10,000 source blocks. You just need 10,000 blocks. So the top layer is the only layer that has to be source blocks. Which means if you flip it on its side and do 25 by 16, then you only need 25 times 16, 400 blocks of fluid, which molten iron, for instance, a single block is one bucket, which is 1,000 millibuckets. And if you melt down molten iron, so 1,000, so a single ingot is 90 millibuckets. That means around 11, you'll have to round up to 12. So that means 12 iron ingots is required to make one full bucket, which means you'll only need around 1,000 iron. But once you do that, you have an unlimited source of iron available. And I think it's possible. So that might be something I end up doing in the late game, because right now getting that much iron is quite impossible. And actually, I didn't even check if there was a... what's it called? Pump? No, it's not the @create fluid. I forget what it's called. It's a rope. Is it the rope pulley? No, the pulley is similar, but it's not the one I want. It's the, actually, it might not even be in here now that I'm looking. I forget exactly what it's called, but it should be in here. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think it's in here, actually. He might have thought about that and took that item out of the pack, because I don't see it. Weighted ejector, because it should be over here with these machines. Nope, not seeing it. Huh. Yeah, he might have got rid of it. Let's see. Create infinite lava. Hose pulley, that's what it's called. Hose. Nope, there it is, the hose pulley. Dried kelp block, copper plate, copper casing. Okay, it's entirely possible. All the tools are there to do it. You'll just need to get the initial investment, but then you have unlimited fluids. Something to think about, something to think about. That's something way out into the future. But anyways, I'm your host, Amos28, and I'll see you guys next time.